Alright everyone, I'm back again. Now, I watched most of Celebration, or most of the panels live, so I did. The only ones I missed out on, or the only ones I didn't really bother with, were the Clone Wars panel and the Rebels panel. It's basically the cartoon panels. And that was mainly because I'm not as into those. Don't get me wrong, I think the Clone Wars is a really good show. I've just never really given it a full watch. At some point I probably will get round to it. And Rebels I thought was okay, but didn't really care that much for. Although in hindsight, they look a lot better than the new cartoon they've got, Resistance. That looks pretty poor. I watched the episode 9 panel, then the Jedi Knight Fallen panel, then the Mandalorian panel, and then the episode 1 20th anniversary panel, which I wasn't even going to watch, to be honest. I had no plans to watch that at all, but I saw they were doing it and I checked it out and I actually quite enjoyed it, to be honest. I might talk about that a little bit later, but the main things everyone wants to know is what I thought about episode 9. Well, the panel, I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Stephen Colbert. I don't even know why he's hosting it. Like, not to get too off topic for too much, but in the episode 1 anniversary panel, they had Warwick Davis hosting it, and he was a much better host. Much, much better host. I honestly would prefer if he had hosted the episode 9 panel, but for some reason they went with Colbert, and yeah, I'm not a big fan of him. To be fair, he did a decent job. I don't think he wasn't cringy or anything. I only cringed at one point when he mentioned Brexit, and even John Boyega seemed to cringe at that as well, which was interesting. But other than that, the panel wasn't terrible. It was just bland, really bland, very by the numbers. It honestly felt like they had rehearsed the whole thing at least 3 times. You know, it was just dull, very dull. The best part though was when the actress that played Rose Tico came on and she ended up getting the loudest cheer in the house, which I thought was hilarious. Although I did see Billy D. Williams and Anthony Daniels on at the start, and it was quite good to see them again, especially Billy D. Williams, because I haven't really seen him doing many Star Wars interviews in recent years, so that was pretty cool. But other than that, it was very boring. But it was cool when they announced they were going to show the trailer at the end. And what did I think of it? It was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. Honestly, the opening bit with Rey in the desert, I don't know where she was. I thought it was Tatooine at first, but I could be wrong. It wasn't that great. You know, the scene where she's standing there, she's got Luke's lightsaber again, which really annoyed me. Like, why does she have Luke Skywalker's lightsaber again? What is the obsession with Luke's, or Anakin's Skywalker's lightsaber? What is the obsession with this one lightsaber? It's not that important to the Star Wars mythos. It's not even been in every single film up to this point. It wasn't in Phantom Menace. It wasn't in Return of the Jedi. It doesn't need to be in this film, especially with it being destroyed in the last film. That was really stupid. The fact she had it again really bothered me. She should have her own lightsaber by this point. She really should. But, she's still got it. And then the TIE Fighter came in. It's presumably Kylo Ren in the TIE Fighter, although we don't know because they didn't show us. I think they didn't show us for a reason. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, the TIE Fighter comes flying in, and I honestly get some vibes of the pod race scene from Phantom Menace. I don't know if anyone else did during that scene where it's like on the ground. And then it comes up to her and she backflips over it. So I didn't like that part, but the sort of montage they had after that of some of the scenes with her and the other characters doing stuff are the biggest thing that made me happy in this trailer, other than what happened at the end, which I'll get to, don't worry, was seeing all 3 of the main characters, or the new main characters, together at long fucking last in these movies. Like, seeing Rey, Poe and Finn, 3 characters that I don't even really care that much about, but seeing all 3 of them together at long last and actually maybe giving them a chance to shine got me a little bit excited, I'm not gonna lie. Especially the scenes where they were like on the what is it again, this here, yeah, when they were on this and they were driving about. It was a cool action scene. I liked it. And then at the end of the trailer, when they go to what presumably is the Death Star remains, although we don't know which Death Star it is, was really, really interesting. And I'm actually quite excited to see why they're going there and what they're going to be doing. But then, after that, when it cut to black and you heard, of all fucking people, Emperor Palpatine himself and his crackling laugh, oh, it was a cool moment, I can't deny that. And then, of course, they revealed the title, The Rise of Skywalker, which I'm of 2 minds about. I mean, it sounds cool, but it sounds weird at the same time. I mean, for me, it pretty much confirms that Rey is going to be Luke's daughter, which I hope happens, to be honest, even though I'm not a big fan of Rey as a character. There needs to be at least one character that's related to Luke Skywalker in these movies. There needs to be at least one, and I really want to see Luke have children. It's like in the extended universe, he had a kid. He had a son named he had a son named Ben Skywalker. That's where the whole Ben Solo thing comes from, for people that don't know. He also had a wife, Mara Jade, as well. But in these new movies, they make him out to be this sad virgin that died, without having any kids or a family. It's just depressing. But yeah, overall, it was an interesting title. I'm okay with it, to be honest. But then after that, yeah, and obviously they had Palpatine laughing, and then after that, of all fucking people, who do they have walk onto stage but Ian McFucking-Dermott himself? Just walks casually onto the stage, stands there for about 10 seconds, raises up the mic and says, "Roll it again." Holy shit, that was fucking awesome. Like, I'm not even sure if I want him to be in the film. I've said it before. I don't think I've said it on here, but I love Ian McDermott's portrayal as the Emperor. He's amazing in both Return of the Jedi and Revenge of the Sith. And to see him in this film would be cool, but it's all about how they handle the character. I'm not sure if they're going to have him in the flesh or not, or if it's going to be some other way. Honestly, if they honestly bring him back, and he's still alive, if he survived or if he's been reborn or whatever, I don't think that's going to work, to be honest. It's going to retcon Return of the Jedi and, Anakin's sacrifice or Darth Vader's sacrifice, You can't do that, and you shouldn't do that, in all honesty. But they could have it where the Emperor is in the film, sort of. Like, the way I want them to do it is I want his presence to still be around. Like, I want him to have died, but instead of becoming a Force ghost like the Jedi would, I want the Sith to, like, their dark and evil presence remains even after they die. So, like, if this is the second Death Star in the trailer, like it seems, and if they go there, perhaps his presence has lingered on, and that could work. That would be really cool. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, other than that, the Episode 7 trailer was, it was okay. It wasn't honestly, it wasn't the main event for me at Star Wars Celebration. Which sounds weird because I was excited for it, but for me the main event was The Mandalorian. And I'll get onto that in a moment, but first let's talk about Jedi Knight Fallen. Jedi Knight Fallen looks good. They didn't really give too much away, sadly. It was mainly just story details they gave out. And obviously they showed the trailer, which looks okay, to be honest. The interesting thing though is they brought in Cameron Monaghan to play the main character, who, if you don't know who he is, he's an actor. He's been in Gotham and Shameless. I remember him in Gotham, to be honest. I haven't watched a lot of Gotham, but I do remember watching the first season when he first appeared. And even though I'm not too fond of how they handled the Joker in that show, he was pretty fucking good in the role. Like, holy shit, watch this clip here. He was pretty fucking good, like, to give him credit. So I'm at least excited to see what he does in this role. And also, it's the fact that we've got another Jedi in the Star Wars universe that's also the Joker. How awesome is that? Of course, says it in my previous video that I am excited for it, but we haven't really learned much since then other than Cameron Monaghan's in it, and the cutscenes are alright. Oh, but they did announce there's not going to be any multiplayer, which I am very happy about, and no online as well, and especially no microtransactions. Respawn. Fucking love you, man. I fucking love you, man! The Mandalorian panel was really fucking good. Of course, I talked before how I'm really excited for this. And they gave quite a lot out. Of course, they had Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau there. And I have to admit, watching just the 10 minutes of them on stage just talking to each other about Star Wars and their love for Star Wars, that, to me, felt a lot more genuine than the entire Episode 9 panel. Like I said, the Episode 9 panel, nothing against any of the people involved, but it felt fake. It felt, okay, corporate studio bullshit that they were putting out there. This here, with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, it felt like two Star Wars fans, two friends as well, of course, talking about their love for Star Wars. And you know what? It got me even more excited for this show. I am really fucking excited now. And they also brought in some of the actors as well. Of course, they brought in Pedro Pascal, Oberyn Martell himself, one of my favourite characters from Game of Thrones. Oh my god, he was so good, so he was. I'm not going to go into a Game of Thrones tangent, but he was brilliant in that. And he was also in Kingsman as well, the second film, and he did really good in that as well. So I'm extremely excited to see him playing the main role in The Mandalorian. They also had Carl Weathers there, of course, Apollo Creed himself, and he seemed really energetic for the film as well, so for the TV show, sorry. So I'm really looking forward to see how he does in it, and Gina Carano as well was there, which I'm really excited to see her, which she does. And overall, I'm just really excited about this TV show. Like the short showreel that they showed during the panel, which was not meant to be leaked, but I found a way. I found a way to watch it, and it was interesting. It looks good. It looks like Star Wars. That's all I can say is it just looks like Star Wars. And honestly, I am more excited for this than Episode 9, hands down. And I'm not the biggest fan of Disney, and I was never really thinking about subscribing to the Disney Plus service, streaming service that they're coming out with. But damn, this is really this, and the fact that it is going to be cheap when it first comes out, this is really making me think twice about that. But yeah, overall, Celebration was pretty good for the most part. Like I said, it was mainly The Mandalorian holding everything else up. The other panels were okay, none of them were awful. The Episode 9 panel didn't do much for me, if I'm being honest, but who knows, it could be amazing. We just need to wait and see. And I hope you all enjoyed Celebration as well. If you were at it, or if you watched any of it online, and you have anything you need to say, just comment down below, tell me what you thought of Celebration, and what your experience was with it, because I'd love to hear about it, so I would. And until then, I'll see you all next time.